so high, I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of Up in the Air.stream. And in this episode, we are going to attempt to fix a very common problem with Airstreams and their bedrooms. And when I refer to that, I mean the air and the amount of air that you receive in the bedroom. One of the beauties of Airstreams, in case you're not familiar, is the later models, and I forget exactly what year it was. They've been doing it for a while now. They went with a ducted AC system. So what that means is they basically have these registers, air registers in the overhead of your Airstream, instead of just having a central located AC unit register. Now it's just the vent basically that you deal with. And so I'll show you that. I know I'm moving the camera all over the place here trying to get it in frame. These are the return air filters, and as you can see there, they need to be cleaned. It doesn't take long for them to get to this point, really just a long trip, like a 10-day trip, and this is the condition that they'll be in. I always have a habit of basically cleaning them before we head out, because usually they're in need. But the other part of this is that even though these air registers, cold air registers in the AC system, they do have louvers in them that you can shut, and that will do a really nice job of cutting off air in a certain part of the trailer, but then forcing more air to, say, the bedroom in this case. However, these registers really are not really good at dispersing the air. They're pretty restrictive. And so one of the things that I'd seen recently, to spin you around here, is I'd seen a company by the name of Aircrafter, and they build like gen sets that you can put in your, not to promote them too much because that's not why we're here. They make some really nice products, so let's just get that straight. I'm not trying to knock on them for what I'm getting ready to say, but they do make some higher end products that are custom for Airstreams, and I'm sure it takes a lot of effort to produce these products. But they build like a gen set, they build like a decal, rubber type 3M protective that you can put on your rock guards in the front that are $400 and some, which let me just say this. So I know I kind of defended them there on their prices, but all of their stuff tends to be priced for them to make max profit, which is what a business is supposed to do. However, in my opinion, I'll just say it, they're overpriced. $480 for some vinyl to go on the front, some rubber that is to go on. That's just a it's hard to justify that, in my opinion, especially when you can actually get those rock guards, stainless steel replacements for the you can buy one for the price of the protectant. And I don't really think the protectant really adds like any major benefit as far as looks. In fact, I think it's kind of a detractor. So all right, so we'll just establish that their products are slightly overpriced, and that led me to, when I was shopping their website, I did see this product here, which is not from them, but it's called the AirPod on their website, and I am not trying to represent this as being the AirPod. I'm just saying that they look very similar, and I'm going to have pictures up there as well. There is some, I don't have an AirPod here to compare to this. There is some differences in the photos where they're possibly bigger, and there maybe is some reinforcement here at the holes. But man, they are very similar. So the AirPod cost on Aircrafter's website, and I'm going to put it up, I'll put the page up, $140 a piece for basically this piece of stainless steel or aluminum. I think they may claim that theirs is aluminum. I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know the details of it firsthand, so it's not fair for me to compare. But this costs $15 And I'd like to think like, okay, well maybe theirs is made in the USA, still 140 bucks. I don't think they make that claim. Maybe it is. This is definitely made in China. So what we're looking at, that comes in a bag like this right here. Doesn't come with any hardware. It definitely does say made in China. I'll put the Amazon page where I found these for $15. I made sure to get 2 of them because I have a feeling that once I post this video, this may be a very popular thing if in fact it works out. So let's get to it. Let's get to installing this item with all that being said, so that you know kind of why I wanted to bring you along with the journey here with this item, because I think this is going to be great for a lot of folks. I mean, 30 bucks instead of about 280 bucks. That if this works out, then that's going to be very popular in my opinion. So might want to order these while you can. So these vents, that the register vents that are currently installed, they do have 2 rivets, one on each end here, and that might be hard for you to see, but once you peel this back a little bit. Now the way I'm going to tackle this is very carefully, because you don't want to skip off and hit your skin of your interior. I'm going to put the camera down because I want all, it's just myself filming today. I don't have Chrissy with me, but what we're going to do is try to drill that rivet out there. So could be a little bit difficult because we have this center here that we can't take loose, and we're kind of, I don't know how they got these in here. Maybe I'll figure that out so I can get this cover off, because it definitely would be easier to drill that out if I don't have to worry about this outer skin. So I'll let you know what the result is. All right, so we do have an opening there, and let's just make something clear here. This is not a instructional video by any means. As you can see, it's the normal expectation of how people do business in a hurry. There at the Airstream factory, nothing is necessarily round or shaped the way it's supposed to be. This was covered up, so not too big of a deal, but it's just stuff like, see how close that rivet is there, and then over there it barely has enough steel to encompass it. It's stuff like that that is aggravating, because we all know that we pay a lot for these trailers, and this is the piece here that came out. Those rivets, being aluminum, they gave up very easily, so you can get a drill bit in there on an angle by pulling one side down. So now I've ran into the problem that this is not big enough, and I'm assuming the Ergo one is big enough. At least I would hope so. They show in the photo like an adapter plate, like a backing plate, and I don't necessarily think, I think theirs has to be bigger probably, and I looked for a bigger one on Amazon, but I didn't have any luck doing that. So I'm gonna take a leap of faith here, and I'll tell you what the plan is ahead of time, because I do want to bring you along for the journey. What we're going to do is we are going to trim these fins out of here, and worst case scenario, it won't be as restricted, right, because these fins will be cut out of there. I'm going to have to drill this out here in the middle, which I could replace that with a bolt later if I had to, but we're going to basically trim like 2 of these fins out. I think that's what I'm going to do, and then take this other plastic piece off there. That way at least I could come back from no return. So there's 4 of them here. We're going to trim 2 of them out and then get rid of this louvered piece, and then that face will be off there, and then we're going to use this plastic as our adapter plate. So it will show gray there. It won't be that big of a deal. There's plenty of gray in the trailer, so I think it's still going to look pretty good. So we'll see, but I wanted to show you what we're working with. We're going to use this as an adapter ring, and we're actually going to put the rivets back in. We're going to put new rivets, and we're going to re-rivet this up in there that came out of these same, because those holes there will be exposed, so possibly not very much, but maybe a little bit. So we don't want to reuse those. We want to reuse the ones that are kind of boogered up. So All right, I'll show you what the result is. I'm gonna have to take this in the house and use like the jigsaw to cut this more accurately. And then worst case scenario, I just have to order another one of these, which I probably could get one from Woodland Airstream if I had to. But we won't be doing any modifications here, other than I am going to take a pair of diagonal cutters, or what some of you may be more familiar with, dikes, and I'm going to take those up in there and kind of pop those rivets out there without destroying that little bit of metal that Airstream was gracious enough to leave us with. It's always barely good enough. I know I'm dogging on them, but you can kind of see up in how the plenum works. It's just kind of a raised dome with some foil backing material, and there was some trash up in there, which is always the case as well. So we'll move on here, and we'll quit dogging on Airstream for just their shoddy work sometimes. So, all right, we are in the shop, and once again, just to kind of take you along with what we're working with here. So I did have the luck in drilling out the little pin right here. That was pretty easy. It's going to spin on you. Just kind of cock your drill bit to the side a little bit, and that kind of push some pressure on it just enough. It doesn't take much. It has a small lip on there that holds that in. And then this is the other piece. It's not really that big of a surprise that this is pretty restrictive, basically because of everything that's in there, and then expecting air to go by. So this is the louver piece that normally would, cut it off. If anything, if this doesn't work out, I can always put it back up there minus all this extra restrictive plastic and stuff like that. So it is looking pretty good though. Like if I stick this on here and kind of show you, like, I think this adapter plate will be just enough to trim it out. It's like a trim plate. So we'll put it up there with the original two holes. We're going to use some Airstream aluminum rivets and rivet up in there, and then we'll screw this in with some stainless steel screws. So that's the plan. All right, so it might look a little bit messy right now, but just want to give you an idea of how I did this. So the Dremel there just has one of those carbide or wafer composite cutoff wheels. Goes right through this, obviously, to cut off metal, so it's easily going to just cut through this like butter. Try not to heat it up too much, but as you can see here, this is what you get. Get like a little Maltese out of there, and that looks pretty ugly, like the cuts there, but the stuff melts, so you got to just be careful. Once you get that out of there though, you can take your X-Acto knife and basically cut everything and kind of clean it up a little bit. Looks pretty good after you do that. Now there isn't a bunch of extra material here, so what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to turn this, keeping in mind that you're gonna use those two original rivet holes to put this ring back up in there, and then once those rivets are in there, then that's when you're going to come back and put this up in there. So as you can see, there's not much material for those screws to hold on to. So we're going to, if you look all around, that's going to be probably the spot. We're going to pre-drill some holes, and then I have these stainless steel screws here that we're going to drive in there, and it should look pretty good once we're done. Just make sure to pre-drill the holes and make them much smaller, which is going to require a drill bit that is literally just the diameter of, not the threads, but of the cylinder of the screw. I think that's the right term. The cylinder of like the screw. So it's going to be a very small drill bit that you're going to use to make those pilot holes there. So, yep. Here is the assembly. So what I did was I did just hold those there and drilled one of the holes first to make sure that I had it spaced where it needed to be. This hole here and that hole over there will be filled with rivets. It is slightly off center, but that was necessary. Um, it just kind of goes in line with all the other craftsmanship in the Airstream. So it's handcrafted. Like, I know I'm dogging Airstream, but you know, I guess the reason why I'm gonna say that is, like, don't get too bent out of shape. I mean, try to make it as nice as you can, obviously, but you know, you're literally doing something like, see that screw there? There just wasn't any way around that, because you're kind of trying to find a happy place for this to go into, and you're not going to catch the plastic exactly how you want to. Now these two are in there really good, so I kind of wanted to justify those and then sacrifice this other one, but it'll come out fine. Just take your time. Those screws being long like that shouldn't matter, because I think this is still going to go up in there just fine, but we'll see. I might end up having to cut these screws off or something, and then still, you know, maybe peeling that back. I don't know. So we'll see. I am going to take it apart now and kind of mark one of these so that I know which one goes where. Probably just put like a little tick of a permanent marker there, so that way I know the orientation. I'll tick it there and on the plastic, so I know which hole goes where. Shouldn't matter, but you know, that'll just kind of give me a reference. So, yep, we'll see how it goes up in there, but I'm pretty excited about it so far. We're back out here in the Airstream now, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to kind of show you some of the things that we do carry with us. I store it down here at the foot of the bed, our owner's manual, and then some other lubricant, anti-corrosion stuff is in that bag, and I keep that in the Airstream here, and I keep them in that little cubby down there. But in the bag here, I do keep like just a drill bit, even though I don't have a drill with me, but I could borrow one. But this is a good drill bit that you could use to drill out some holes for rivets, in case you need some wood screws, some stainless steel wood screws more importantly, and some ad seal that is the correct color for like the roof, and some glue, some Gorilla Glue, all the stuff that you could do like a minor repair, so that way if you're out and about. I also carry an extra pin for the hitch. That's important in case that somehow gets lost or somebody steals it. You're going to need that to basically leave your campsite. These are the different straws to go up your drain for your AC drain, in case you don't know what that is, and those need to be 6 foot. Recently learned that it does take every bit of the 6 foot to get to the top where it commonly clogs, and so when you do order one, make sure you get a 72 incher or 6 foot. Some double-sided tape, which really can come in handy, and that's the VHB tape in case you have something come loose. Some brown markers here to touch up the furniture in case there's a scratch, and then also some batteries for our TPMS and also our level mate, so which happen to be the same. I think those are 2032s, or no, actually those are 2025s. So then we have 3 different size rivets, and those rivets can be bought from the Airstream store. That is what they use in the factory, and it is 3 different common sizes. They do sell them separately from their rivet kit, which I think is probably fairly priced, but not the most economical way to purchase them. So I wouldn't recommend buying them that way. I would just recommend just buying 3 different sizes. We're going to use what is commonly used in the interior here, which is the smallest of the sizes that we have, and I have the trim here, and we're going to put it up there. I made sure to clean out the plenum up there and make sure if there was any more trash up there that I did get it out. Alright, so here we are with our, for lack of better terms, our trim piece or our adapter piece. It is the remnants of the original piece. The little rivets that I used, they are the perfect size. It's the interior ones, so that went up in there nice. And the next step now is we're going to screw our diffuser back in. So here is the final product, and just keep in mind, like, don't get too bent out of shape about where this knob is, because this will float around completely. You're able to steer it exactly where you want it. Now, what this little knob is for is there's a little damper in there. See that? It's pretty sweet, actually, and it will close it off completely, much easier than the other ones. Now, these kind of hang down a little bit lower. Like I said, they're $15 a piece. They do hang down a little bit lower. I don't think... I'm just going to spin you around here real quick. I wouldn't suggest putting these in the other part of the camper, of the trailer, just because I feel like they do kind of hang down a little bit low for your common travel areas, and that some taller folks might actually, because it is a little bit lower. Let me show you. You know, there's these here, and then there's the ones in the bedroom, and so I'll show you what the original one was once again, which is pretty much flush in, you know, regard, and then this is a good like 2-3 inches lower. So, you know, just keep that in mind. I mean, we never really think about it being too cold in the rest of the trailer, but you know, that's entirely up to you. You know, but it does work. So let's do a test, and I have some high-tech equipment here that we're going to do a test with. I'm going to turn the AC on, and let's see if this works. I'm just going to basically allow you to visualize, you know, the difference in the amount that's coming out. Obviously, I can give you my opinion, but, you know, this is just going to kind of show you just generally what the difference that it deflects this paper here. So we're just plugged into 15 amp, but I'm just going to turn just the fan on. I'm not going to turn the AC on so the compressor won't kick. So let's try that. All right, so I have the AC on, and now just to be clear here, I haven't manipulated any of the louvers in the front. They're still pretty much wide open. This louver is completely open, so as you can see there, I'm holding the high-tech piece of equipment here, the paper, showing the amount of deflection that the air that's coming out. Now see, I mean, it's really not even a good design, because you're laying in bed, you know, directly below this, you know, in your twin bed, all the way down here, and the air is really being diverted over here. So it's really no wonder that you know, aircrafters had come up with a better product, or in my opinion, basically just maybe bought something that was already out there. Because if I can buy a $15 item, maybe they did too. Once again, not saying they didn't have it specifically created by them, but it's almost identical. So once again, that's the amount. And then if you go over here, I have it pointed directly down, and I mean, look, I mean, you can even hear it rippling, you know what I mean? So that is the louver completely open, and you can see just, you know, it's just a huge, look at the deflection. And then I can feel the air down here, and you'll be able to direct it kind of like right on top of you. And I guess I could even show you there that, you know, there's actually airflow that's detectable down here. Now this is with the fan on high. If I was to go over here, it's not even worth really talking about, because I think some of that airflow might be from the other side even. And you don't feel it down here at all, and that's with the fan on high. So, all right. Well, to wrap this up, if you have any questions about this install, make sure to put them in the comments. If you did like this video, make sure to hit that like button, and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more Airstream videos and also camping destinations here on our channel up in the Air.stream. And I appreciate everybody watching. Make sure to get out there and have some fun.